There's a tax law going through Congress as I speak. Stay tuned for this video because it may even affect your taxes for 2023. We're going to talk about the key provisions of that new tax law because once it gets through and fully approved, it will affect many Americans across the country. Let's get into it. First things first, if you are a content creator or influencer and need help with your bookkeeping or your taxes, click the link down in the description. Let's book a call and let's have a conversation, see how I can help you on your journey. Guys, I got my notes here because I do not want to miss any part of this, and I'll make sure I'll cover all the parts. This new act, the Tax Relief for American Families and Workers Act, it enhances the child tax credit. There's some business tax relief. There's also some adjustments to the 1099 reporting. We're going to cover that. So let's get straight into the enhanced child tax credit. In past years, there was a cap. This new tax law increases the refundable portion of the child tax credit over the next few years. It's going to offer some tax assistance to families, as well as this new law essentially provide more fairness for large families. So previously, if you had a larger family, the child tax credit, the refundable portion was based on a percentage of earned income. Well, now that same percentage still applies, except they're going to multiply it by qualifying children. So this will provide a greater tax benefit if you do have multiple children. Next, this new law will provide some flexibility when looking at your income. So the earned income is normally based on the current year. However, with the new law change, you can look at prior year or current year. So if you had a drastic change between incomes, you can pick which income better suits you for a greater tax credit. Next, there is a modification of the overall limit on the refundable tax credit. So under the current law, the maximum refundable credit is limited to $1,600 per child for 2023. So even if the earned income limitation is in excess of the amount, it is up to $1,600 per child. Now, this provision increased the maximum refundable amount per child to $1,800 for tax year 2023, $1,900 for 2024, and $2,000 for tax year 2025. Also, for 2024, the tax credit will be adjusted for inflation. So now this usually does not happen often. Inflation has been crazy over the past few years. So now, just like recently where the IRS has released inflation adjusted tax brackets, the same thing will apply for child tax credits. So each year there will be a slight change for inflation. Now let's move over and talk about some business tax relief. So now this new act allows businesses to immediately deduct research and experimentation expenses to encourage innovation. The current law as it stands provides that research and experimentation costs paid and incurred in tax years 2022 going forward will have to be deducted over a 5-year period. Well, this new provision delays that date until 2026. So in between that time, they can continue to expense immediately the cost of any research and experimentation costs instead of delaying it over the 5-year period. Bonus depreciation. Now, this is one deduction that many business owners like to follow. So in prior years, there was 100% bonus depreciation. So if you were to buy a vehicle or equipment, you can get 100% of that written off with bonus depreciation. However, starting in 2023, there was a 20% reduction for each year going forward. 2023, it was 80% bonus depreciation. 2024 is 60%, 40%, and 20% for 2025 and 2026. Well, this new provision actually increases that threshold back to 100% all the way through 2026. So if you're in a situation where you have the bonus depreciation, you're buying equipment, vehicles, you can deduct 100% of those costs in the first year that you put it into service. Section 179. Now, I've covered Section 179 before in the prior video. I'll link it up at the top so you can check that out and watch that video. But essentially, it increased the limitation on expensing depreciable business assets. So if you had 100% business use for an asset, you can fully write it off. However, there was an overall limit on how many assets you can write off within one tax year. The new provision increases that limitation so that you can write off more business assets in the current year. Employee retention tax credit. An effort to address the fraudulent claims related to the ERTC, the Tax Relief for American Families and Workers Act introduced measures to increase penalties on fraud. It accelerates the termination of the period for making new claims for the credit. These changes aim to ensure the integrity of the credit while providing support to businesses that actually been relying on it. Now let's talk about the 1099 changes. So there are some adjustments for the 1099 MISC and the 1099 NEC for non-employee compensation. So these are the general 1099 forms that you will receive. So if you are someone, maybe you walk dogs on Rover, you do Uber, or some other contract work as a freelancer, these are the forms that you normally will get. However, with the current law, the threshold was about $600. So if you were to receive $600, you had to report that income for your taxes. Well, the threshold with this new legislation require you to file those forms if you receive payments exceeding $1,000 instead of the $600. So this change aims to streamline reporting requirements and really make it easier to maintain proper tax reporting. There you have it. That is some key provisions in the new tax law. It likely will be passed. If it does, it will affect your taxes. Guys, this is an election year. There's likely going to be a lot of tax proposals from different candidates. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on that notification bell, because if it comes out, I will cover it. Taxes is going to be a big thing because a lot of the tax benefits that currently exist right now are set to expire at the end of 2025. So regardless of who gets in office, there will likely be tax reform over the next few years to either extend some of the current benefits or come with a different plan. Regardless, subscribe to the channel so you can stay informed and be prepared for any of new tax changes. Well, folks, this is the CPA Mindset, helping you learn and think like a CPA. As always, EFB, take care.